Yesterday I gave you 3 minerals that you had to look up. You had to go online and find out their properties, their color, their luster, their streak, special things about them. So I want to go through the answers today. These are the 3 that you had on yesterday's assignment. So the first mineral I gave you was a mineral called sulfur. Sulfur is known for its bright yellow color. Now, that was the first thing I asked. What is the color of sulfur? So you see A is yellow. The next thing I asked was, what is its luster? Luster is the way that it reflects light. And we see that it is between resinous and earthy. Sometimes it's a little shiny, sometimes it's not. So you could go with either one there, resinous or earthy. I went with earthy. It kind of looks dull to me. This sample, at least, is kind of earthy. The next one I asked, letter C, was the density. And sulfur has a density around 2. It would not float in water. It's more than 1, but it's not very dense either. You can see in the picture, it's got some holes or spaces of air in it. Letter D, I asked for the streak. Remember, the streak is when we take the mineral and we scratch it on this plate, and it leaves a yellow streak, a yellow powder for letter D. Letter E was the fracture. How does it break? And you can see in the picture, it's not smooth, no cleavage. It breaks rough, bumpy, uneven. So we call that irregular. E, irregular fracture. Letter F, I asked for the hardness. Remember, we can scratch it on glass or a nail or a penny. And it does not scratch any of those. Sulfur is very soft. I can scratch it with my fingernail. I can leave a mark on it. So it has a hardness of only 2. Only 2. Letter G, I asked about its smell. Now, pure sulfur all by itself does not actually have a smell. But when sulfur changes chemically, it smells like rotten eggs. If you burn it, it smells really bad, stinky, makes you want to leave the room. The sulfur smells gross. Yuck. And it's also part of the smell you get when you strike a match. When you light a match, you smell that. Oh, wow. And that is because of the sulfur that they put in the tip of the match. The red stuff that you see there has sulfur in it. So sulfur is used in matches for H. What is it used for? It's also used in gunpowder, and it's also used in medicines. The second mineral I gave you was muscovite mica. It's really cool one that is thin and shiny and peels off into layers. Look at this. I can peel off a whole layer of it. You can see right through that. Very cool. Okay, muscovite mica. Its color is silver, shiny, or brown, or clear. You can say all of those colors. Its luster, B, is pearly. Pearly means really shiny, but still non-metallic. Really shiny, but non-metallic. We use the word pearly. If you've ever seen an actual pearl, which is not a mineral because it's organic, but if you've seen an actual pearl, they are very shiny, but they are non-metallic as well. Letter C, I asked for the density of muscovite mica, and it is almost 3, 2.8, so not very dense either. Remember, your non-metallic minerals are usually less than 3 or 4. Letter D, the streak. I'm sorry, yeah, the streak. If I scratch this on the pad, it doesn't leave anything. There's no marks, no powder. So D is none, no streak. Letter E, I asked for the cleavage. This is smooth, right? It's flat on one side like a sandwich. That is one direction of cleavage. One. And it's perfect. That means that it's perfectly flat and smooth one direction. So some of you wrote perfect, and that is right. Perfect cleavage, one. Letter F is the hardness. This does not scratch anything. My fingernail can dig in and leave a big mark on that. So it's very soft, also a 2. Letter G, in fact, we had all 3 of them yesterday were soft minerals, all 2 or less. Letter G is what is the mineral used for? And this one's cool. It's so soft that it's not used for much. It breaks too easy, but we can use it for, it's very shiny and you can crush it and make glitter. And they use it in glitter paint, which you see a picture of. Okay, third one. I gave you talc. Told you to learn about talc. This is talc. Looks kind of like a boring rock until you touch it. And you don't get to touch it, I'm sorry. Talc, its color, A, I went with gray. Sometimes it's brown or some green, white. Those are all colors that we find in talc, kind of a grayish color. Letter B is the luster, and this one is also dull or earthy. You might have put resinous. Some of them have a little shine to them, kind of waxy. Letter C was the density, and it's very similar to muscovite mica. They all have, these first 3 all have about the same hardness and same density, 2.8. So non-metallics. Letter D was the streak, and it does not have one, which is kind of weird because when you crush it, you get a powder, but you have to push really hard or smash it. When you just scratch it on there, there's no powder, no streak. Its hardness, E, is pretty special. Talc is the softest mineral. There is nothing softer than talc. Everything can scratch talc. It's very easy to scratch it, even easier than mica. Letter F, what does it feel like? It feels slippery, soapy. It's kind of oily when you touch it. So it feels like a wet bar of soap, and it can slip right out of your fingers. Letter G, what do we use talc for? We use talc for lots of things. The main thing is this one right here, baby powder. When you crush talc, that's what's in baby powder. It's very soft, and it can help keep things dry. We use it in deodorant, medicine, vitamins, makeup. If you wear makeup, there's probably talc-based powder in it. So lots of important things that talc is in. Well, that is all for today. Those are the answers from yesterday's activity. On Monday, I will give you 3 new minerals. I'm going to give you these 3. I'm going to give you, watch this is cool. I'm going to give you halite, which is salt, and it's a cube. I'm going to give you galena, which has lead in it. It's very heavy and metallic, but it's also a cube. 2 cubes, right? And then I'm going to give you a really important one because we have a lot of it in Indiana. This is calcite. And it's got a lot of special things about it. It's in limestone. It's almost a cube. This is the one that is tilted, like a rhombus. So we've got cube, cube, rhombus. And you're going to look up the answers for those 3 minerals on Monday. And then Tuesday, I'll give you the answers again. I'll show you what the answers are. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.